Man up now, man up.
It's Man Up Monday. In the studio with that dude, Jasper Williams
I knew it was
III.
coming. I knew it was coming.
It's been a while, man. How you doing, brother?
Breath. Hey, man, I'm good with you. I missed that.
So let's take some time, man. Let's jump into some of these questions. I had a brother that came to Man Up Live one Saturday, and he brought another guy with him. And the guy asked her, man, if God made me like this, you know, a hunter, a gatherer, I think men we just look at other women, you know, it's just who we are. If God made me like that, then why then, in order to be a man of God, why I got to change? And I thought it was a pretty good question based on where he was. Sometimes it feels like God gives us all of these desires and all of these impulses as men, but then he says, don't follow none of them if you're gonna please me. Let's talk about that.
Well, I think that can be a very worldly perspective. And I think that we can be blaming God for what he doesn't deserve to be blamed for.
Wow.
You know, I think oftentimes we've established some flesh patterns. You know, and whenever you start feeding your flesh a certain diet, you don't want to change. I mean, think about it. When you're eating clean, it's hard to start eating clean, but once you've been eating clean for a while, to go back and eat fried food, sweets, carbs, all that kind of stuff, it messes with your system. And so you're starting to ask yourself, well, why did I ever change from eating clean? And I think that works both ways. And so for us to say that God has made us a certain way, and now I can't live out my impulses, my inclinations, etc., I think that that's being a little unfair with God.
You do understand. You
I get
understand his perspective.
I get it. But we have to recalibrate around what God says. All right, so here's a question for the question.
Okay.
Just because your kids want cookies, cake, and ice cream
And they
for
were
breakfast,
made to want that, yeah.
do you give it to them?
No, you don't.
Is it all right for them to have it?
No, it's not.
Absolutely not. Because as a father, you know that they deserve and that their bodies actually need what comes in vegetables and a well-balanced meal.
Right.
And so for me to say, God, you know, you made me, I want some cookie and some cake, you know, God, you got to give it. What do you mean I can't have it? Absolutely not.
So it's safe to say that there are some things that are in our wheel well that we have, some desires that we have that probably just need to be cleaned up. It's not that they're bad. It just need to be cleaned up. We can have as much sex as we want. We just can have it with one woman.
That's one application for it. Clearly, you know, it's like when you open Pandora's box. You can't close it. And that's why God has been really careful to establish some rules, some boundaries, and some parameters. And so with that even being said, we have to recalibrate. And once we recalibrate, we start to notice that what it is that we want it differently. So yeah, I mean, you know, can you have as much sex as you want? Scripture's clear. My body's not mine. My wife's body is not hers.
Yeah.
Everything on the inside of context of marriage, you know, is certainly permitted.
All right, good stuff. Man up, dog.